Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Denali and I'm a full-time reseller on eBay and Poshmark. My store and closet name is DUCHO, E-L-D-U-C-H-O, and you can find me on Instagram at DUCHO Thrift. If you're not subscribed to my channel and you like reseller content, hit the button down below, and if you enjoy this video, give me a thumbs up on your way out. I appreciate it. So today's video is celebrating my 2-year work anniversary as a full-time reseller. Yeah, congrats to me. So my official date that I started as a full-time reseller was on July 7th, 2017. So this video is just like about a week late, but I wanted to make a video and talk about things that I had learned in that time. So this video I'm covering 5 things that I think I've learned, like lessons. I'm not sure what I should call them. 5 lessons that I've learned in my 2 years of reselling. 5 things I wish I knew better. Okay, whatever. I don't edit, so I can't dwell on this for too long. So the first thing, to get right into it, the first item, and I wrote down a list here, is that I wish I knew early on to just take that first offer. So a lot of times when we're out sourcing, we come upon an item that we feel like we hit the jackpot. This is going to be the thing that brings us $1 million, right? We're so excited to find this item. We get it home, we photograph it, we list it, we look up comps, which is like the most fun. We find these really, a few really great comps on it. We list the item, and then it sits. Maybe it sits for a couple days, and then you get that offer in, and it's perhaps 30 to 60% of what you asked for the item. And you're upset by this because you're really hoping for that full price offer on this item that you were so excited to find at the store, and here somebody is lowballing you. So what happens? Sometimes you might decline, sometimes you counter, and maybe you counter and they decline. And I've had this happen to me, and then the transaction doesn't go through, and then the item sits. And it sits, and it sits, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I've had this item for 2 years, however long it might be. That could be the case with some of my items if I went through and I delved into all that. But the point is that now I would look back and think, wow, I really would have loved to have taken, or I wish somebody would give me one of those 30 to 60% of my, whatever that it was. I wish I would have taken that offer is basically what I'm saying. And so the lesson that I've learned here is not necessarily don't be greedy, but that's maybe part of it. Part of it is just looking up comps and understanding comps a little bit better than maybe I did in the beginning. And I've always used the app completely, which I made a video covering apps that I like, so you can check that out. But I've always used that app, and maybe more in the beginning, I would search sold listings and I would look at them from high to low. And of course it's really fun and easy to look at that highest sold comp and say, well, yeah, that's what I want to get for it. Somebody got $100 for this item. However, it's really important to look at what is the average sold price. And the average sold price might actually be $50. So pricing your item at $100 is all well and good, but the reality is most of the items similar to yours are probably selling for $50, maybe some are selling for $30, maybe some are selling for $60 to $70. So really knowing what your item is worth, and when you get that offer in, possibly taking it and being more realistic with your expectations. So have you ever found yourself in that situation? Do you have any items that you're like, man, I wish I would have sold that? Let me know in the comments because I'm curious. Okay. Another lesson that I've learned, my second one, is don't try and duplicate what you see other resellers doing. This one is an easy trap to fall into because you look at somebody else who appears to be doing well at reselling and you're like, okay, that's how I should do it. This person's doing really well. But all of our businesses are so unique, and all of our processes and how much we pay for items, it's all so different. I truly don't think any one of our businesses is really alike. That copying what somebody else is doing doesn't mean success for your business. Because, for me, I shop at the Goodwill outlet. I pay by the pound. Sometimes some of my items can cost me, maybe 25 cents. So I'm able to sell an item for, $15 to $20 and still make a profit on that. However, if somebody else were to find that exact same item, right, but they purchase their item for $4 or $5, selling it for 15 to 20 is not as great of a return on investment. And so that's where, duplicating, replicating what somebody else is doing in their business might not work for you. And I'm not just applying it to that aspect. I'm literally thinking of, on eBay for return policies, for shipping policies, how somebody takes their photos, all those different sort of things. I don't think that you can just one size fits all look at somebody else's business and say, this is exactly how I want to run mine. And I think I fell guilty to that in my first couple of years because I was really figuring out what I wanted to be doing, and I tried replicating other people's business models, like, oh, well, so-and-so's doing this and it seems to be working really well for them, I'm going to do that as well. But it ended up backfiring on me, and I would see a decline in my sales. I definitely think I'm at a place now where I know where I've kind of cherry picked. And I think that's really what you have to do, is look at other people's businesses and say, okay, well, I like this part of what they're doing, and I like this part of what that person's doing, and this person over here, I like what they're doing. So you have to find little things, what works for other people, and then turn it into what's going to work for you. So my third item is that you need to take risks. I think to be successful in this job, or really any job in your life or anything in your life, you can't be risk adverse. And most people are, because it's scary and it's uncomfortable to take risks, but it's important to do so because that's the only way you're gonna learn and you're gonna grow. Now, on a small scale, one example that I thought of was, I'm looking at my notes here, but I remember when I first started out, and tell me if you've ever done this before, but you've reached out to maybe another reseller that you have been following on social media, and you said, hey, I've been following you for a while, I really like what you're doing, and here's a list of questions that I have. So have you ever done that? It's okay, I've done that as well, and I'm definitely not pointing anybody out because people do reach out to me, and I do try and answer them to the best I can, but you have to understand, we're the same people. I'm doing the exact same job as you. So I think you have to be realistic, though, in your expectations. I remember sending a message off to somebody when I first started, and I wanted to know, how much money do you need to be making before you can go full time? Well, I wasn't being realistic then, because that answer is so subjective. This person that I was reaching out to, I mean, not only are they in a different age than me, their cost of living is different than me, they live in another state. There's so many different factors that how could they possibly even try to answer that for me and for me to feel like that would fit my mold? They were working a corporate job as well. However, I don't know what their salary was, and it probably wasn't the same as mine. And again, going back to cost of living. So trying to do that, I feel like it reminds me of when I was pregnant with my son, and I wanted to look through baby books and find, like, what's the right amount of money you need to have saved up to have a baby. There was no chapter on that because it's all different for every one of us. Another thing is, are the questions that you're asking somebody, can you find them on Google, right? I look back at maybe some of those questions that I asked, and it's like, oh, could I have Googled that? Has somebody on YouTube maybe already answered that? And if it is, maybe before typing that question, looking it up, because the answer might exist out there, and you're probably actually going to get a response a lot quicker if you just go to a search engine as opposed to waiting on another human to respond back to you. And then, this kind of falls in line with that, but it's really asking somebody to do your homework. I don't want to say it's like cheating or whatever, but, you're not going to learn anything if somebody just gives you a straight answer on how you should do this, this, and this. Or maybe you're at a store and you're like, I don't know if I should buy this dress. Have you ever sent a message to somebody saying, should I buy this item? I'm not sure. Or I don't know how I should price this item if I, do end up buying it, or whatever the case is. We're all doing the same sort of job. I'm looking up comps for my stuff. You're looking up comps for your stuff. So, or hopefully you are, and if you're not, you should. And maybe just going on gut sometimes, like, well, you know what? I really think this item is cool. I think it's on trend. I think people will be interested in it. And you know what? For $2, I'm going to take that risk and I'm going to buy it. And if I'm wrong, then I won't make this mistake again. So you have to just be willing to kind of take those risks upon yourself and really just making those independent decisions for yourself. I know it's scary in this job, but you know, another thing I'll have people reach out to me and say is that, you know, I'm scared to start on this platform, right? It's usually eBay. People say that they're scared to start on eBay, but some people are scared to start on Poshmark. And this kind of leads me into my next point is it's really important to become a multi-platform seller. I don't think that any one person can sell on a platform and really make a living off of it. There's a very small, just like in all things in life, there's a very small percentage of resellers, and usually they're Poshmark sellers, who can sell on one platform and do it successfully, or you know, maybe even some eBay people, but they are operating at a very high volume. I think of stores on eBay like BHFO or Linda Stuff. They're able to operate at a really high volume because they sell items at a very low cost. So unless you're one of those people, the rest of us, we need to be multi-platform. And I realize that it's scary to start on a platform that you've never been on or never used before. That's how it was for me with Poshmark. I started selling full-time on eBay that July 7th, 2017, but I didn't start selling on Poshmark until about January, February of the following year. And I was really scared to do it because it's like, well, what's this whole sharing thing? That doesn't even make sense. But I just jumped in and I started doing it, and I mostly did it, to be honest, for the social aspect. I was really looking to engage and meet with other resellers. And what do you know, I ended up making money on there. So that was my best case scenario. But now I love being on the platform. You know, that's where the second place where I make the most amount of money. I'm on other platforms as well. I'm on Mercari. I sell on Tradesy. I sell on Facebook Marketplace. I sell on, I don't know, name some place. I probably sold on there. I sell on ThreadUp. Lots of different places to sell on. And why it's really important to be multi-platform is that for a day that eBay is doing bad, my Poshmark store might be doing better. For a day that maybe both of those aren't doing great, maybe I'll sell something on Mercari, or I'll sell something on Tradesy, or sell something on ThreadUp. So you always kind of have one or another working in your favor. And again, I know that taking these risks and going to these new platforms is scary. Most people say, well, I'm scared of the shipping, or I'm scared of the return policy. But that's the best way you're gonna learn. You just kind of need to mess up. You should, you know, get on there and mess up the shipping. Just totally, like, lose some money on it, okay? Lose like $10 on the shipping. And guess what? The next time, you're probably not gonna mess up the shipping. Or mess up that one return. You know, maybe you have to give a full refund to the buyer. We've all had to do that before if you're an eBay seller. But I bet you'll learn better for next time. What are some better practices that you could be taking on? So that is my fourth point. And my last one is that consistency is key. It's so important in reselling, is consistency. You know, sometimes people will say, well, when can you get to consistent sales? Like, when do you start having regular sales? You know, there's folklore about, well, you need to have like 500 to 1,000 listings, or they'll say with Poshmark you need to have 15,000 followers or more, or you need to do the 30-minute method, or all these crazy different things that people will say. In my opinion, you just need to be listing new items every single day. Every single day. For eBay, sell similar and the relist, that does not count as a new listing. You need to be listing brand new items every single day to the platform. So choose that number, whatever it is for you. Say hypothetically it's, I want to list 10 new items every day. Well, then you better have, you know, that's 70 items a week. So you better have stuff ready to go. And setting yourself up for success. If you're like, well, I don't have time every day to do 10 listings, then every Sunday night or Monday night or whatever day of the week is going to work great for you, sit down and do a bunch of listings. Sit down and draft 70 listings. You can do drafts on Poshmark and you can do them on eBay. Get a bunch of drafts out, and then as it goes on throughout the week, all you'll have to go in there and do is publish those listings, and you're gonna have them ready for you. So set yourself up for that success, because getting consistent sales, you need to be listing consistently. That's all there is to it. That is absolutely how I saw consistent income for myself, was doing that. As like my I think probably my number one piece of advice, you know, for success as a reseller. So those are my 5 points. Just to recap them: take that first offer. Don't sit on your items. Don't duplicate what other resellers are doing. Cherry pick what you like. Find what's going to work best for you. Take risks. Learn new things. Don't ask other people to do your homework, and I mean that in the kindest possible way. Be multi-platform. There's lots of places to make money out there. Don't back yourself into a corner where you're only relying on one platform for money. And lastly, consistency is key. This is so crucial. List new items every day to make consistent sales. So with all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You know, I think there's probably a million more tips that I could give you on things that I've learned as a reseller, and possibly this could be a series, so maybe I'll think of some more, but I just wanted to get the ball rolling on this one as it was just my 2-year anniversary. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Give me a thumbs up if you did, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks.